Resident Evil 4 Remake is a masterpiece. From the combat system to the graphics, it is perfection. And you've got Leon's anaconda arms. What can go wrong? But today, I answer one of the most frequently asked questions about Resident Evil 4. Can it be beaten with the rifle? No pistols, no shotguns, just a rifle from start to finish. So let's just jump straight into it and find out if it's possible. So we kick things off with Leon breaking into some random dude's house. Inside we stumble upon him, and he's just minding his business, cooking up a storm. But he tries to attack us, and Leon reacts the only way Leon knows how to, breaking his neck. But it turns out the guy's deaf. Anyway, leaving that guy and his snap net behind, we made our way to the village. At first, I thought, oh nice, a bonfire party, maybe some s'mores, some spoons.
Oh my goodness!
It was here that I realised these people are not friendly. And since I didn't have my rifle, there wasn't much I could do except run around like a maniac. But luckily, back in the academy, they taught me the 5 Ds of dodgeball.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Using these methods, it allowed me to kick this old lady off the building, but her husband wasn't too happy about this, decided to strangle me. It was chaos out here. And just when I thought it was game over, the sweet sound of salvation, the bingo bell.
Bingo!
Summoning them all just to go play bingo like a bunch of old people. Next up, I strolled into this random cabin and I started janking up these floorboards that this guy had literally just started placing down, and funnily enough, he wasn't too happy about it. So naturally, I dived headfirst into this really sketchy basement. And down there, I found this wriggling sack, and I was hoping for a rifle so I can finally kill. Instead, I found this random guy who started to flirt with me, but before I could tell him I wasn't emotionally available, the big cheese arrived. And it turned out, you remember that guy whose neck we snapped earlier? That was his brother. So you can guess that he really isn't happy, and he just wrecks my shit. After I woke up, I was in this building filled with enemies, but they had stolen all my gear, so it didn't really matter. I didn't have a weapon to kill him anyway. But it was every cloud has a silver lining, as they say, and it led me to the merchant. And here I sold off all my other weapons. Goodbye pistol, goodbye shotgun, and I finally bought the rifle. And he also threw in a free scope as well. What a bloody legend. Once I got this, I went back to test it out, got my revenge on these knobheads that kept me hostage, and I killed a few rats as well for the spinels. But this kind of backfired because I only had 2 bullets left to face the mountainside, which I then wasted trying to kill this old bloody lady. So buying the rifle was a complete waste of time because I still just had to run and dodge and dive away from everyone, which wasn't too difficult. It was a bit annoying considering I finally had the rifle. But the next parts were fairly easy. The chainsaw guy didn't give me much trouble. I kind of skipped him, and then I came to the first dilemma of the game. I heard a whimper, and it was the dog. I had to make a decision whether I should save him or not, but then I remembered.
Professionals have standards.
So I freed the good boy, because I mean, who could let the dog die? Next, I found myself back in the village, and for some reason they 9/11 their own tower, which I don't really see the point because it didn't even do anything to me, but whatever floats their boat, I guess. Made it through the town with minimal drama, just a few angry villagers, nothing new. And I reached the church, but there was still no sign of Ashley, so I kept pushing on towards the lake, took out a few more pitchfork enthusiasts along the way, and I eventually made it towards the water, where it turns out I needed to get some gasoline. And the only way to get gasoline was, once again, killing a dozen enemies, which proved no difficulty with my dead-eye accuracy. I got the gasoline, and with that I managed to fill up the boat, and then once the boat was filled up, I managed to kill the big salamander. Then I managed to get the key required to unlock the church so I could grab Ashley, but I had to get to El Gigante first, and at this point the rifle was already maxed out. I don't think he was going to be trouble. So when the big boy finally appeared, I did realise I actually had quite a bit of ammo as well to fight him. So he dropped pretty quickly, and I realised that this fight might actually be pretty easy. It was here that my good old buddy the wolf came and joined me. As he attacked El Gigante launched him into space.
He took him with his foot and he kicked him.
Seeing the dog go to space put Leon in such a rage that he just had to kill the El Gigante as quick as possible in honour for his buddy. After holding the tribute for my wolf buddy, I went and rescued Ashley, but the enthusiasm wasn't there anymore. I'd lost a good friend. As we escaped through the attic, I wanted these bastards to clean up after me, so I destroyed as many barrels as I could. And as we made it through the village, I made a new friend. I don't know what his name was, but it seemed like he wasn't aggressive. In fact, he wanted to join us. So who was I to deny that? If he wanted to escape with us, let it be. Unfortunately, on the bridge, it seemed like he couldn't keep up, and he just joined the mob, but I heard him scream in the distance.
Fly, you fools!
Those were his last words to us before Lewis invited us into this house. Inside, we got attacked from every direction really, through the windows, through the ceiling, through the doors. Anywhere you faced, there was a villager. But I was pretty capable. I mean, I had a decent amount of ammo and I was making sure that my shots counted. I was only going for headshots and it was a one-shot kill, so making my life relatively easy. Until Ashley finally saved us. We just legged it out of there and heading off into the next area where I had to get a crank for the door, and to do so I had to get past the Bella sisters, the two wielding chainsaw maniac bitches. The first one went down relatively easy and the second one also went down easy. Neither of them put up a fight, but I managed to open the door just in time because look at this guy swinging at me. But it led me to the Mendez Hill chase. The big cheese grabbed Ashley. So I stabbed my knife into him, as you do, really. And when I realised that it did nothing, I was shitting my pants. And when he knocked me flying, there was only one thing I could say to Ashley at that moment.
Run, bitch! Run!
So I did the only thing I could think of at that moment. I tried to embarrass him. I decided to shoot his hat off. It was here I learned Mendez's best kept secret. Despite being blinded by his massive bald head, I managed to make it up the hill, kind of like Kate Bush did, but Ashley, the dumb bitch, decided to get her legs stuck in the bridge. She needs to learn how to run in hills, just like me. But I didn't have time to teach her at this moment, so I dropped this fella that was coming at us and we got off the bridge as quick as possible. Here I was getting a little bit worried because I didn't have that much ammo and I was kind of worried about getting soft locked because we were coming up to the fight against Mendez. But unfortunately there was nothing we could do, we just had to go in and hope for the best. So we blew up this barrel and it turned him into the human centipede, which was his true form. Turned out he wasn't made of cheese. So the fight was actually going really well. He went into phase 2 literally straight away and I was finding it really easy considering this was professional difficulty as well. But going into phase 2, this is when the nightmare came in. I softlocked myself, I ran out of ammo. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it. But on a reload, I just started practicing my dance moves.
Slide to the left, slide to the right.
And carried on shooting him. I had the technique that since I ran out of ammo last time, I was only going to shoot the explosive barrels, but I was going a bit too slow, so I did just keep shooting him until he died. After Mendez's death, we ended up in the castle where we faced probably my most hated enemy, the fucking worm plaga, which is such a pain in the ass, and I can't tell you how many times these things killed me this playthrough. Next I had to fight these guys with these huge catapults, and in doing so, it unfortunately left me with no ammo, so when Ashley got grabbed, there was actually nothing I could do.
No. Wait.
Despite this, I managed to eventually blow the bloody doors off, as Michael Caine would say, and I met someone I never thought I'd meet. Maggie Thatcher. In person. I always thought she was dead, but what do I know? So that explains why the mines were shut earlier on in the village. But she sends her goons after me and she keeps going on and on and on like a politician, and I just don't really care what she's talking about, I'll be honest with you. She says that I've chosen death, but I don't remember getting an option. Making quick work of her goons, I realised I could have made this into a montage, but I didn't. Next I went down into the dungeon and I couldn't believe who I met down there this time. Prince Edward. First Maggie Thatcher, now Prince Edward, but once he realised I was an adult, he kind of gave up. After my meeting with royalty, I was in the water room, a room renowned for just being absolute ball ache. And to be fair, it was, because I was getting hit hard. So hard, the only thing in my mind was to leave Ashley behind. I'm sorry, Ashley, but this is survival of the fittest. I was providing Ashley as much cover as possible while she was climbing up, while taking hits. After providing amazing cover fire for Ashley, we managed to complete a water room where shortly after she just died in my arms. I'm not really sure what happened, but this was the silver lining because this meant I could buy the body arm from the merchant now. The next scene is awkward because it turns out Ada was wearing the same dress as Leon, and in seeing this, Leon just attacked her, so annoyed that she'd copied his outfit. After the attack though, she treated me like Commissioner Gordon and Batman straight out the window. Forgetting where I was momentarily, it turns out I somehow got transported to Middle Earth as this troll climbed the wall. I ran away from it, and as I did, I just destroyed and dodged some zombies, but I found a cannon, but I needed to wait for my orders from Aragorn. Once I got my orders, I blew his face clean off. After we found Ashley alive again, and she was just sitting on the sofa crying, and honestly, Leon joined her, because once he explained that Ada was wearing the same outfit, he couldn't contain himself. And honestly, I couldn't blame him. Next, we made it through the maze where I was just killing these random dogs until I finally dropped enough flags that opened the door, which led to me to finally upgrading the rifle to its max abilities. And let me tell you, this thing was like a cannon. It was absolutely demolishing enemies. It was doing collats. It was just killing everything. Even the knights were taking one shots. I felt unstoppable. Things were going really good until this cutscene when Leon decides to whip out his pistol again. Mate, I didn't spend all that time upgrading this rifle just for you to use the starter pistol and a knife. But I digress. Do you remember earlier when I said my most hated enemy was the Las Plagas worm? It's not. It's these goddamn bugs. And what makes it worse is that now I have the rifle, it is like wasting a magnum bullet on one bug. Luckily I didn't need to use too much ammo, but in this room I met Prince Edward's entourage chained up. But after feeling my fully upgraded rifle, they stood no chance. Which allowed me to go into the throne room, but they was having this really weird cult party in there, and Ashley was drinking coffee with Margaret Thatcher, so I slowly backed out. But before I could, I got jumped by this bug thing and it threw me down this hole. Making sure I didn't come back, it followed me down there and wanted to fight me, but I didn't want to waste the ammo because I knew the 2 El Gigante fight was coming up, so I just wasted time, jumped in the elevator, and that's where I met Luis. And I knew I looked fine, but he started flirting with me, but there was no time for that, Luis. We had to find Ashley. I watched him get chow-sued by this suicide bomber, then we got jumped by the 2 El Gigantes, one from Helm's Deep again. One nearly crushed Luis, but he managed to dodge it. I dropped one straight in the lava from the get-go, easy as pie. But then Luis turned into Legolas and decided to put dynamite on the back of this one, which allowed me to blow its back out, and then with his parasite out, he died so quickly. So here I was forced to use the pistol, but here's my logic. I shot their minecarts out, so I didn't technically kill them, gravity did, so it doesn't end the challenge. But then we ended up flying off the minecarts, and this is really awkward, but it turns out Luis landed on a knife and died. With Krauser now appearing, him and Leon just decided to have a little slap fight, and it was actually rather pathetic. But in this segment, I was forced to use the knife regardless, but technically I didn't kill him, so I don't believe it breaks the challenge rules. Once Krauser's beaten, Luis actually dies from embarrassment of landing on that knife, so we have to say our goodbyes and head off to fight Thatcher. Leon doesn't play around and shoots her straight in her thick skull, but this only reveals her true form, which was this grotesque monstrosity. So I started shooting until she finally started flying around shooting this liquidized coal at me. Despite her best efforts of trying to kill me though, this Magnum rifle absolutely slaughtered her. After killing Maggie, I jumped in a boat, but I realized there was no key. But despite our earlier feud over the outfits, Ada decides to give me the key and we drove off to the island where we encountered the scariest enemy in Resident Evil history and potentially gaming history. But despite the new version of regenerators, nothing will ever top the horror of hearing one in the corridor on the original game. They were absolutely terrifying. Anyway, back to the challenge. I got through the regenerators part and I had to upgrade my keycard, which required a wrench. And luckily enough, someone shoved it right up this regenerator's ass and I managed to grab it. Afterwards, I found Ashley sleeping and gave her this fish I found in the cupboard. It woke her up and gave her the ability to drive this wrecking ball machine. But unfortunately at this part I ran out of ammo while someone was trying to get into the cockpit with Ashley. The only thing I could think of here was to sacrifice myself, which failed massively. Eventually I did manage to do it and we climbed the lift, and it was here that Sadler decided to show us his Sonic the Hedgehog cosplay, which between us was shit. Here Leon had to use the force on Ashley to stop her from killing him, and luckily enough the gun jammed as well. And they just decided to leave, which was pretty weird. Next we managed to get to the Krauser fight, and for some reason he had a picture of me back when I was a teenager, which was a bit weird. Once the fight started, I didn't show him any mercy. I just unloaded my rifle into him and he flashbanged me and ran off. Later on he tried to show me his dodging skills, which it didn't save him, and he just literally turned into the guy from Prototype. Now all I had to do in the second phase was just keep shooting his legs and running away whenever he got close. This worked really well because eventually I had him laying spread eagle on the floor from defeat. Leon got mesmerized looking at his reflection in the knife and forgot where he was. Once he remembered, he plunged it straight into Krauser for having a picture of him. I was now on the final stretch. Nothing exciting happened in this segment. I had to destroy this anti-air gun so Mike could blow up these doors. The rifle didn't work, so I had to use this turret. Once the doors exploded, I went through and Mike tried to pick me up, but Leon didn't give me a warning about the dozen bugs on his helicopter, leading to Mike to crash, and Sadler rose from his explosion and decided to let Leon go again. Moving on, I found Ashley sleeping on this table, but Sadler was nowhere to be seen. That was until he snuck up on Leon, unable to resist these looks. Fortunately for us, Ada decided to pump him full of bullets and let us get out of there, sacrificing herself. Leon needed to hit the gym as he struggled to carry Ashley towards the lab, which was conveniently placed next to the altar. I'm not really sure why Sadler never destroyed the lab, but that's not my business. Now we were parasite free, it was finally time to go fight Sadler, but we saw that Ada was captured, so we decided to free her and let her drop 50 feet to her demise. After she fell, I got jumped by Sadler and needed to team up with Ada to bring him down. I felt really confident going into this fight because I had a ton of ammo. So I did what I was best at.
Blasting. Bang, bang.
After blasting him non-stop in his weak spots, he eventually went into phase 2 where I blasted him with an RPG and then stabbed him straight in his eye. So that answers the question. Resident Evil 4 Remake can be beaten with only the rifle. Challenge complete. That's the end of the video, guys. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I've got a lot of challenge content coming out soon, but if you have any ideas you want me to take on, please leave a comment and I'll try my best to do it. Bye.